Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Nat Radio.
When I'm feeling under the weather, you just make me feel sweet. Ice the cocoa tea, use the sugar, and together we are complete. Darling, heat me up. Only you alone can put fire back in the soul. Heat me up. And they telling me I should leave that fire alone. Well, the more they tell me, the more I'm holding you close. I could never let you go. Miss how she live. Girl, I'm coming home, I will see you again. All day through the night, I'm dreaming. Yeah. Miss how she live. When you turn it up, make it smooth, my darling. When outside is pouring rain, put a pot on the fire. Bubbling, it's over. Raise the temperature higher. Coming in closer. Make the thing catch a fire. It's all on the ground, all over the counter, yeah. With that pot on the fire, yeah.
It's your cocoa tea, I love.
Boy, I barely could concentrate. I feel a sugar rush in my vein. One cup, it does make my day. I'm missing it when I'm gonna love for you. Heat me up. Only you alone can put fire back in the soul. Heat me up. Girl, you are that thing, I could never leave you alone. No. And no matter what they could say, I'm holding you close. I could never let you go. Miss how she live. Girl, I'm coming home, I will see you again. All day through the night, I'm dreaming. Yeah. Miss how she live. When you turn it up, make it smooth, my darling. When outside is pouring rain, put a pot on the fire. Bubbling, it's over. Raise the temperature higher. Coming in, you're coming in, you're coming in closer. Make the thing catch a fire. Spill it all on the ground, all over the counter, yeah. With that pot on the fire, yeah.
Is your cocotiella?
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
And that is exactly what we intend to do, to make sure we start your day right, not just today, but every day. So whether it is coffee, tea, milk, plain water, whatever it is, or it's just a sandwich going down, or your cocoa tea, we are here with you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago, neighbors in the Caribbean, and friends who are streaming all around the globe on the www. Yes, good to have you to our slice of paradise. Welcome to the Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, taking you above and beyond. And of course, we are streaming to you from the beautiful, gorgeous Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to say much thanks to the Heavenly Father, as always, for bringing us together for another day. And everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. People, I am your truly Sir Charles, yes. And of course, together with our team on the inside, this is Net Radio's Get Up and Go. Welcome, everybody, to the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean time. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your rumble or your morning drink.
So good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Show this Tuesday morning. It's Tuesday, it's not midweek yet. I know you're yearning for midweek, but it's not that just yet. But it is Tuesday morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Show, wherever you are across the planet. Good morning. Of course, we're coming to you live out of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, a big welcome to all of the listeners and viewers in Trinidad and Tobago and up the Caribbean and wherever you are on planet Earth, in North America, South America, Asia, Africa, India, wherever you are, Australia, New Zealand, the Maldives, wherever you are listening, a big good morning to you. And, put a smile on your face. It's a lovely day, at least it is where I am. At least it's starting off as a lovely day. You never know in the Caribbean how it's going to turn out. But, big good morning to you, and a special good morning to my co-hosts, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Richard. Morning, Sir Charles. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's Tuesday morning in Trinidad and Tobago, as I'm sure it is in most other parts of the globe, except maybe Australia and so on. It's Tuesday night, Tuesday evening, But yeah, we're here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. I struggled this morning. My apologies. I resorted to sleeping gummies, and well, it didn't help much. But good morning.
We thought you were sleeping. We thought you were well asleep. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
My body.
To get a good night rest.
My body is yearning for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think my body went into that zone today. Hey, today's Tuesday. I don't have to be up. I don't have to do radio. So it was one of those types of morning. My apologies. But yeah, we've got an interesting program for you today, guys. We've got a former Attorney General, and we've got also a former Commissioner of Police to weigh in on that. I don't know what to call it. A very press conference by a former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, yesterday, because I know we tried to get the head of Interpol, but he said, I listen to you guys, but I will hold my tongue for now, But yeah, we've got an interesting program lined up for you today. Again, happy birthday to my cousin Nichelle Stephen Ada out there in the United States. Nelson West, our old soldier and colleague of mine too. Ann Wong from St. James, Salim Neptune he was the head of the youth league in the PNM at one time. Ricky D'Souza, Ansel Coward, Chanel Charles, Adrian Alexis, and Curtis Chase, who's a member of the media. He's one of those guys who you see almost at every event with a camera. I can't remember which newspaper he works for now. But morning and happy birthday, Curtis Chase. Those are my birthday greetings for today. And anyone else celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. All right?
Okay, so Charles, you have any birthdays or special greetings to do?
Actually, I know checking. I know checking to see
special greetings.
what throws up is coming up in my space, but so far now, oh boy. Yeah.
I don't know why when I think of Sir Charles, I think of Junior Saldina and those messages that we used to see early morning, Richard, from the night before.
I have no idea.
Junior, what the hell goes on in the night?
So Charles, I don't know if you're aware.
No, I'm not.
Julius Saldina at Paolo too used to do a night program. And you see the night after he and Raj do it.
Oh, right.
Junior used to have some messages on that chat overnight.
And they had some regulars.
Yes, that we used to see it in the morning when we come. But I don't know why you reminded me of those messages. I don't know.
I don't know myself, but I don't know. But
so
as you mentioned it, I can only imagine the type of messages you all would have been getting.
Oh gosh, I don't know, Junior. Junior had a serious fan club. Junior and Dr. Raj had a serious fan club.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, well, I don't know what you want to do. Good news, Richard.
All right, let me do good news. Because I know it sounds like you want to talk. You have something to get off your chest.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
All right, so there's our good news today, sent by one of our avid listeners, and it's about the Gay Pride March that took place on Saturday, did it? In Woodbrook?
Saturday, yes. Saturday.
Yeah. So this is some footage from it.
When you see these two brothers get together, Big Brown and Fabrice, is a trouble. For next step, tick, 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 tick.
British High Commissioner here in Port of Spain, and it's fantastic to be here at today's Pride event. We're here because we're huge supporters of human rights, and in particular the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which holds that all people are born equal in right and dignity, no matter who they are, who they love, or what their behavior is. So that's why we're here. We're having a great time, and we're looking forward to the rest of the parade.
From the Gay Pride celebrations in Port of Spain.
Port of Spain, yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I didn't even know who the UK High Commissioner was actually,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that was our good news for today, celebrating the LGBTQ community and their pride. I think their pride came to, well, Pride Month ended
Sunday.
and probably ended because it usually ends with that march.
Well, then that was Saturday then.
Parade,
because there
that
was
parade, that parade.
that was Sunday then. That was Sunday. Because there was I think an after party too at in I think it's phase 2, down by phase 2.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. That was Sunday then.
So, LGBTQ community, happy Pride, even though it's not an end, I guess. And so that was our good news today, sent it by one of our listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for that, Cliff.
Yeah, man.
That was our good news for today.
Right. So, Dr. Rowley had a press conference yesterday that I logged on to at some point in time. But what drew me into that press conference, because it was live on Facebook, so that's where I picked it up. Right? I'm listening to him and he's talking about his travels and that he presented his passport in Antigua, I think, first, because I think he went on further to Montserrat after. And he presented his passport in Antigua. And so I don't even know if you gathered any clips from it, Richard. But I
was looking for it. I thought maybe you sent it in a group, but you didn't.
No, because it was a live on Facebook event that I saw. I mean, I've only seen it on Facebook since, right? I think it made the news last night also too, if I'm not mistaken. It was on the news last night. But I didn't get the clips from anyone. I got the live feed. But anyway, what alerted me is that he said that the first thing that they alerted him to is that they're looking his date of birth. And I immediately went to you, Richard. When he said his date of birth alarmed the authorities, well, initiated this further checks. I said, but is the only other person I know born that day is Richard Raghubar Singh.
No.
So I say I wonder.
Ronald too, who living right next to you.
Huh?
Ronald, who living right next to you, born the same.
Yeah, but I just thought about you. I know Ronald Albert is born that same day. I just thought about you.
And for clarification to the listening and viewing audience who may have some misconception, Dr. Rowley and I are years apart, probably decades. Because once he did introduce me, I met him somewhere at some function. He was telling some guy, but we have the same date of birth.
It's so come on, Richard. It's so come on,
yeah. And I said yes, but years apart. Many years.
Anyway, so that piqued my interest when I heard him say that it was his date of birth that apparently that
triggered.
Yeah. So I say okay, and then he went on to say that they eventually came back and brought his passport for him and told him I think it was a mistaken identity. So he questioned, well, who else? Who you all mistaken me for? I'm using my words, right? And I'm saying, where is this story going? And then he revealed that he was told that he was on an Interpol list, I think by the authorities in Antigua, either Antigua or Montserrat.
So they told Dr. Rowley that he's on an Interpol watch list.
That's what I gathered from what he said, right? So I'm saying, okay, now why would that happen? Because he's questioning it too. And I mean, he eventually asked that the authorities here in Trinidad and Tobago clear it up. In other words, that the Commissioner of Police clear it up, that the Prime Minister, who's the head of the National Security Council, clear it up, and that the Attorney General also clear it up. So I say, okay, well, the best people to hear from might be people who formerly sat in that office. You know what I mean? I did reach out to the Commissioner of Police. He didn't respond. I did reach out also to the Dr. Rowley. I didn't get a response. But I reached out to a former commissioner and a former attorney general, and they both responded. And we'll have them as our guests in the next hour to clear up that issue, how Interpol gets involved in a matter like this. Who are the local authorities that would oversee or communicate with Interpol? You know, and
surely Antiguans must know a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
And that's what I gathered from Dr. Rowley's press conference yesterday, that he was being treated very nicely, and then all of a sudden, when they scanned his passport is when the flag came up. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I gathered, I don't know if he was traveling alone or with family members or whatever, you know what I mean? But I gathered that everybody knows Dr. Rowley. Who don't know Dr. Rowley in the Caribbean? He's been a statesman in the Caribbean for so many years. Head of CARICOM, head of so many different
That's what I'm saying. Maybe, which is why he would have received the actual information, because regular people wouldn't get the information that you're not maybe on an Interpol watch list.
Yes. So they probably would have confided in him that, listen,
yeah,
this
they
is
probably
what's
gave
going
him
on.
the courtesy of that information that
Yes.
your name is listed on a Interpol watch list.
Yeah.
Which I suppose was the subject of the conference. No, I didn't see the press conference at all. I went there. I'm going and telling you what you were saying. I was looking to see if perchance you had put the video up in the group.
I'm sure 10 tons of people are sending it to me as we speak. You know, let me check.
At least the relevant clip of that press conference with regard to when Dr. Rowley, would have indicated whatever. But that's highly irregular and very strange.
Yeah.
As a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, being stopped. What the hell is going on in Trinidad? What's going on?
Yeah.
Is everything seeming so out of whack?
Well, the Commissioner of Police, through the communications unit, is the fastest I ever see the communications unit respond to something. They almost immediately responded that as far as their information is concerned, he is not on they didn't initiate any Interpol watch list. You understand? They were clear that they didn't. The TTPS didn't. You understand? Have him on any Interpol watch list. You know what I mean? So this story missing parts, and I'm sure that those parts will come out. We haven't heard from the Attorney General. We haven't heard from the Prime Minister, who's head of the National Security Council. So I think the Prime Minister did say something that that he's being alarmist or whatever, that's creating. I think she did say something. I don't want to say the words she said, but she did send out a statement, But never a dull day in Trinidad and Tobago. Never. That thing just went viral yesterday on social media. That issue with Dr. Rowley just went totally viral on social media. But guess what? At the end of the day, somebody speaking the truth, somebody's not. You understand?
I find it very hard for Dr. Rowley to call a press conference to make up something. He doesn't have that demeanor.
True.
And
it will be strange for Dr. Rowley to do what he did just to draw attention to himself, for unnecessary attention. He's not been that type of person. He's out of the politics now, so he didn't even need to do it,
Yeah, so that's what's strange. I'd be curious to see some of the video footage. Anybody send anything to you?
No, I'll wait. I don't know.
Anybody has any of those clips, you can send it to Wendell, at least from the press conference. Of Dr. Rowley. You could send it to Wendell. I was looking in the group chat, but then I realized, you didn't send any of it.
Yeah. I have the total live, and I don't know if you would want that.
Well, that'd be lengthy.
Yeah, it will be. It is lengthy. Lengthy.
But you just want the clip of the relevant part.
Yeah. Also, what in the news yesterday was international actor Malcolm Jamal Warner drowned in a holiday resort in Costa Rica. They say he went for a swim, sunrise, that's early morning, and his wife, after an hour, he didn't return, and she sent out an alert, and they found his body. He drowned, and yet I always tell people, sea water. If ever you hear when the Stephen drowned, is because he drop out some thing in the sky and end up in the water.
Or he slip in the pool. Or he slip in the pool.
I ain't gonna drown in my pool. It happened to me already. I know what you're talking about. It happened once already. But that was drama that day.
There was slight panic on your face.
Yes.
Slight a lot.
So you recognize it in the deep part of the pool. I'm sure you probably just had to walk on that side of the pool now.
No, I just tripped. I just, washing down my yard, I tripped. Fell.
Somebody is confirming with me that the gay pride was on Sunday, not Saturday.
Saturday?
I thought it was on Saturday. No, it was on Sunday, not Saturday.
Yeah, it was on Sunday. Yeah.
So they confirmed it.
But also interestingly, guys, I mean, we have an SOE, right? And when we have an SOE taking place, you would expect that there's some heightened sense of police army presence around certain areas. On Sunday, people were being robbed in the capital city. We had some visitors who were here, came off some ship, and they were walking around Port of Spain. 4 of them were robbed. And then there was a guy who...
Yeah. Was from a cruise ship?
Yeah, they came off some cruise ship, and they were moving around Port of Spain.
That's unusual, because usually there is a heightened presence when a cruise ship arrives.
And they were the 4 of them were robbed by 2 men. Somewhere wrong by the Diego Martin Maxie's hub or something like that.
That's right at the edge of Rice Road there.
Yeah, and they said the guys ran east along Bryson Road, and then there was a situation at Scotiabank on Independence Square. Look where some guy went to do a deposit, and 3 men held him up, took his money, and that sort of thing. So when these things are happening in the capital city with no challenge, people are just doing things nobody took. I find it in the height of an SOE, it's ridiculous.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because that's as city center as you could get. And and what I find strange, as I know generally when cruise ships arrive, there is a ramping up of security, and there's usually a tour guides are around and stuff like that, because they don't want any incidents, because incidents could lead to cruise ships saying they're not coming back.
Yep.
So they don't like any incidents at all. So there's always a considered effort, as far as I'm aware, to prevent incidents. So that is unusual, Sir Charles.
But we also had 2 robberies by 2 places in St. James that I don't know that they've had robberies before. Which one is right by me, City Furniture on the corner, by Matura Street opposite Subway there. There was a robbery there last week, I think. And by Rip Shack, you know where Rip Shack is on Mokorapa Road?
Yes.
Close to Hot Shop there, well, obliquely opposite Hot Shop. Yeah, there was a robbery there last week also too.
Rip Shack is open?
Yes.
I always never know if they are or not.
Yeah. People go there.
Yeah. Because the building is not a building that kind of looks closed up.
It looks so from the outside, but it's a huge space inside, with dining and
I've never gone in, because I always find it look closed.
Yeah, no.
Anytime I pass it, because up to them down in Mokorapa, and I'm always like, I'm always see the sign up, and I'm always like, are they still open? Because you can never tell.
Yes.
You can't tell whether they open or not because the business doesn't give you.
You can't see inside of the business.
No, you can't.
No.
I'm always like, are they open or not? Because I've never gone inside.
Yeah.
But it just a lot of these things are happening, and it's like with the state of crime, you would expect that the police would be knowing that. You may not know when it is going to be happening, but when it happens, we would expect some sort of reaction to these things.
Well, they did react to the kidnapping of Shari Rahim. What's the girl name? Because they got her, the girl who was kidnapped. Remember a woman was kidnapped recently?
That's the lady from Valsid?
Yeah, it was Valsid?
I can't remember exactly where, but I know somebody in that area was...
Yeah, Shanti or something like that?
Shanti Irahim, I think that's the name.
Yeah. Oh, they got her?
They got her, yes. And one of the kidnappers was killed in a shootout. Not in a shootout with the police. I don't gather that there was a shootout. I gathered that from the commissioner's words that when they encountered him, he had a gun, and the police exercised what they call it, use of force policy. And he was shot, he was injured, taken to the hospital where he died.
Yeah, when you hear...
Congratulations to the TTPS.
On that particular...
Yeah, well, yeah.
But how do we secure the capital city?
Of getting her back,
yeah.
How do we, secure the capital city from these things are happening with no challenge? I mean, not too long ago, about a couple months ago, my wife was robbed right on Broadway there, a man, 8 o'clock in the morning, she going to school, a man just grab her chain and drag her all on the ground and run up and go up Henry Street. And, no security, nothing about she, Yeah.
Oh, that must have been a harrowing experience. Yeah. I've been through so many of those issues. It's lost.
And they're happening, and there isn't anything that is saying that we are doing something to have some sort of deterrent for these things happening.
I didn't know about your wife, Sir Charles. Sorry to hear about that.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyhow, let's
greet the people in chat. Richard, I did send 2 different clips from 2 different listeners. For you, I don't know if you could get anything from it, but let me greet the people on the chat by the time.
Let's greet them.
I can click on them while Richard does this thing. Subash from Woodland. Good morning from Woodland. Good day, everyone. Suzanne Jessup from, we don't know where she's from. Where's Suzanne from? Good morning to God's Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ. Blessings upon us all. Good morning to Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. Joyce Phillips says, top of the morning, guys. Where is it? Joyce Phillips. Why ain't getting Joyce Phillips to click? All right. Margaret Thomas says, guys, have a blessed and wonderful day. Boy Bidesi from DB says, good morning. Erica Charles also says, thank God for sparing life to see another beautiful day. Brennan Smith from Goodwood in Tobago. Marcia Rock from Orlando, Florida. Wendy Ann James from Aranguez. Melissa from Champlain. Marlon Motley from North Val saying, good morning, gentlemen, listeners, and viewers. Mr. Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach. Julia Batiste, Diane Payne says, good morning, all on the net. Carol Guevara says, good morning. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr also says, have a wonderful day. Brent Hackshaw also says, good morning. Hazel Will, Valerie Mendoza, Wayne Ramsey, Doreen Pierre, Anthony Tinto, Grand Rising to the Breakfast Crew and to all. Stellar Services from New York City. Rena Buru Jennings, CJ from New York, do have a wonderful day. Alistair Hart from San Fernando. Ava Smith says good morning also. Lambert Bruce from El Dorado. Mrs. R, good morning. Katian Charles from Cascade. Good morning to the Breakfast Crew. Have a wonderful day. And she says, Steph, enjoy your day too. Anne-Marie Watson from Miss Maloney. Slick Money Grip. Cheryl Johnson from Malabar and Arima. Anne-Marie Watson again. Okay, she didn't. The message before didn't come out. Mo Gaines also says good morning. Victor Thongs, another great day in the land of the living. Hill Benj, morning all. Mrs. R said, my breath of fresh air. Thanks, Mrs. R. You're welcome. Ron DeSantis Jr. says, from Norfolk, Virginia. Helen McCann, Andre Reno, Jacqueline George, this is a new name. Good morning to Wendell, Richard, and to Charles. Nice to finally get to text you. Have a great day. I knew it was a new name. Scorpion Pepper says, good morning, sunshines. We feel very blessed this morning. Lennox Francois, Beauty Culture, Scorpion Pepper said, as I saw Wendell drinking his coffee, it occurred to me, why don't you guys start producing and selling some branded merchandise? We will. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're waiting on some more sponsors to come on board before we really excel. Where we might be on hold there. You never know. Richard and I have nothing to do, and neither Sir Charles.
I have plenty to do. Eh? Don't talk for me, please. I have plenty to do.
I will do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I promise you. Odell Guy from Sangre Grande, Nuts Cake. DL, good idea, Scorpion. Scorpion Pepper said, I think the UK commissioner should be working on the visa to the UK. But we had to hear from our Foreign Affairs Minister, Sean Tobas. He said he have a solution for it, not so?
Well, he said he did say that he had a meeting with the Home Office the last time he had a press conference. But, you know, it's... I don't want to say it's very difficult to get UNC people to speak, but like
very difficult. You could say that.
But it's
it has been difficult.
It seems like it's a policy. It seems like it's a calculated policy for them not to speak to the media, or they're afraid to speak to the media.
I think they're more afraid. I don't think it's a calculated policy because Khadija has been willing, Vandana has been willing, Clyde Elder spoke with us, and we've gotten
some. Yeah, we've gotten some. Yeah. But maybe you're right. Maybe they're just not media savvy, so they're a little scared. I don't know.
I gathered up because I've got no response
from with us. We are the most harmless group possible. Not so.
Yeah. Any media, I would think so.
We have been calling the Homeland Security Minister constantly. He's not answering any messages.
Philip Watts, the Minister of Sport, has not answered me. Dominic Smith, the Minister of Public Administration, has not answered me. Yeah. Who else? I can't remember who else. But yeah, we've been trying. Morgan says, LOL, the way Wendell was saying you have the same birthday, I thought for a second you both are the same age. But they might, Richard is actually a lot older, you know. But he just looks so very good.
Who? A lot older than who?
Than Dr. Rowley. He just looks so very good.
Yeah, right.
Lincoln says, I don't believe he is on an Interpol list.
We are not clicking the messages, Wendell. You're still stuck on Susan Jessup.
Yeah, because I wasn't getting it to come up. All right, now I'm getting it. Rena Jennings says, Richard have a serious problem with age. Rena, you know that? Scorpion Pepper says, I am October 27, and Dr. Rowley, Dr. Rowley is the 24th, Scorpion Pepper.
No, it's the 24th of October. It's also United Nations Day. So now you'll never forget it, Scorpion Pepper.
Yeah.
I could click from now on, Wendell, since you're doing a bad job.
All right. Crash said, but I saw a picture with Interpol stating, okay, where you see that, Crash?
Where you see
Scorpion
and Crash on your picture alone, we're not so sure how seriously to take you.
Exactly. Scorpion Pepper says, for once I'm looking forward to actually hearing Gigi on Interpol Gate. Melchizedek says, good morning. Vidavid Manik, that's a new name. Okay. All right. I don't know what that message means. Vidavid. Lincoln says, open it. Hey. Lincoln want to produce the show, you know. Diane Payne, they are out to embarrass this man for what he left office. Leave him alone. I agree. Just a nice guy says organizations constantly get confused with names that are similar. I was constantly confused with a politician. Every time money was sent overseas, apparently my name is popular across the world. But I'll tell you something. I didn't know anybody had my name. I knew that somebody in Laventille one time had my name, but I also, when I traveled abroad recently, I found out that somebody else had my exact same name and had an address in the exact same area that I had my address, an address on that same road, that is. And I found it very curious, but the exact same way. And if the person at the institution didn't turn the screen, the computer monitor for me to see, that's how I saw the name. I said, but look, there's a Wendell Stephen there too, and living in the same area. I said, okay, well, what a thing.
I don't know how to take this, but I don't think there's anybody else with my name.
Richard, well, they have,
There are plenty, Richard.
They have Raghubar Singhs.
The name Raghubar Singh is actually unique if you look it up. 95% of the Raghubar Singhs reside in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. And when my sister was doing a kind of ancestry look back, and they were researching it, they were saying that they think it's a made-up name. They did an amalgam of names. So I think Raghubar Singh is actually unique to Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Ram Kalavando is not.
But Davis and Stephen is global.
Oh yeah, we all over.
Yeah, Stephen. Most times Stephen is V or with the S at the end.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Shanika York says good morning. Michael Oliver, you know, you could say that in a different way, right? Good. So I'm gonna delete your comment. Find another way to say what you say, because I know you from Facebook, and you can be very disrespectful when you're ready. Ian Stewart, she said she needs to apologize to the nation. Okay. Morgans said that's not Dr. Rowley's character. Ashford Legaton says, why all you ain't talk about Faris? You mean two Faris? Yeah, we will try. Carlisle Cupid says, why doesn't Dr. Rowley enjoy his retirement? It can be extremely fulfilling. You're right, yes. I don't know why he even bothered. Nutscake, okay. Again, you all can find another way to say what you're saying, right? Rena Jennings, Shanika York, who in Trinidad, okay. A lot of repeats here. Cheryl Henry says good morning. A lot of repeats. All these people already said good morning, so I'm not. Your comments are noted, right? As I said, try to continue to be disrespectful, right?
Well, I have some of the footage from what Dr. Rowley said. Now, I just pulled the footage from one of the clips that you sent, Wendell, so I'm not so sure what it says.
Richard, hold 1 minute. Let me just add to the greetings this morning before we move off of it. Let me say good morning to Marva, to Kent in Laventille, Oliver Manwaring, good morning. Carlin out there in Carnage, Mr. Billy out there in Powder Magazine, Cynthia Aaron, good morning to you. Kazim Mohammed, good morning. Ashton, Bishop Ashton Clark, good day to you in Canada. Angela Collier, good day to you. And then there's Zena, good morning to you. To Brenda out there in Penal, who's celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Brenda. Have a good day. And good morning to Miss Sampson. Thank you very much, guys.
Also, good morning to Farah Hayatali and Robert Harper. Evans David also says good morning. Carl M. Jack, all the way on Baghdad. Shuma Paul, Dolly Mullet, and who else? Larry Charles, morning. All right, so I'll just do, those are some new names that came in, and there's a whole lot of chat going on.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Alistair Guevara, and this is... All right, ready again? Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm addressing you all tonight from the Toko Main Road in Rampanalgas, where around 6:30 p.m., based on information and intelligence received, officers from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services sections, the multi-optional police section, the Special Investigations Unit, and the Anti-Kidnapping Unit received intelligence about the location of kidnapped victim Seti Karim. As a result, intelligence-led operation went into play, and as the officers would have approached the house, the male suspect would have held Ms. Karim hostage, was armed with a firearm, and sadly, the police officers had to use the use of force policy. And he was wounded and taken to hospital, where he succumbed subsequently. The victim, Ms. Karim, was also taken to hospital, where she was medically examined, and she is now reunited with her family. A female suspect is also in custody at this point in time. I would like to urge the members of the public to continue to partner with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and share information that is of use to us. This is a scenario where we spoke about this recently held, or the state of emergency that I would have asked the government to call for, and they willingly agreed. These are the criminal gangs that have amalgamated themselves into this syndicate and were using crimes such as robberies, extortion, and in this case, kidnapping, for the purposes of getting money so that they could fuel their rampant, what should I call it, attack on the good citizens of this country.
Right, so that was one clip in terms of the kidnapping. Let's go to the Dr. Rowley clip.
I want to say, however you may want to view me, the one thing you could never erase from the history and the future of this country is that I was the Prime Minister of this country, and I am the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And when I held that office and all the other offices, I always did so with a caveat that I don't do it for myself. I do it for the greater good of the nation, to uplift the nation. And the fact that I, as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, 3 months after I left office, this is the country where a Prime Minister could leave office and 3 months after, he's the subject of Interpol activity. Doesn't say much for Trinidad and Tobago. And it doesn't say much for me either, except that I would like to know what exactly did I do in my life as a public officer and now as a private citizen to cause the authorities in Trinidad and Tobago to put me in that situation. And if they could do that to me, they could do it to others. You will have seen the Attorney General having the shocking presentation in the Parliament a few weeks ago. As Attorney General, the country's chief law enforcement officer, who should be protecting the rights of all citizens, doesn't matter which side of the floor he's in Parliament, getting up in the Parliament and pointing at members of Parliament and saying, "I'm coming for you, and for you." And I watched that and was appalled. And I saw no objection to that from quarters in this country. Apparently, we are normalizing that kind of behavior in this country. And I experienced it last week. So today, I am calling on the Prime Minister, head of the National Security Council, and the Commissioner of Police, the officer with the responsibility for the Bureau of Interpol in Trinidad and Tobago, to tell not me, tell the country what crime I am being investigated for and why it is that the police in Trinidad and Tobago could not carry out their duties here and had to resort to Interpol. Because one thing I should tell you, Interpol is not an investigating agency. Interpol is an agency that comes in where criminal matters have been determined and persons are, in most instances, attempting to flee justice. I call this development nothing more than a dastardly defamation, fabricated, constructed, and executed by the government agencies of Trinidad and Tobago, led by a government which seems to be more interested in retribution, hate, spite, divisiveness. And only such a government will put this stain on Trinidad and Tobago. Only such a government will put this stain on Trinidad and Tobago. It means that If they come out now and lie that they don't know about this and they didn't do this, then this remains on Interpol's list. Because who put it there is who has to take it off.
So that's some of the a clip of Dr. Rowley speaking on that issue. So now you have the information on those two stories, because I didn't see the press conference. I heard about it, but I didn't actually see it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, interesting times. It's pretty weird, quite frankly, for a former prime minister to be on a Interpol watch list. And of course, it's going to be subject of our poll in a little while. But we're a little late in opening up the lines. But we didn't even do the headlines.
No.
So we'd have to treat those clips as the headlines for today.
Yes.
And we'll just take some calls at this point.
Mm-hmm. All right. And happy birthday to someone of our people in the chat called Brenda. She's celebrating, Brenda from Penal. She's celebrating her birthday today. But the chat has been very active this morning. And so have the people who have joined the program today. Our numbers are normally second hour numbers already. So let's open up the lines, 281-1315. We're going to take a few of your calls and then we're going to do a poll. All right, you have 5 minutes to call. All right?
Okay. All right, so let's go. Miss Sampson, good morning.
Good morning. I think, Dr. Rowe, they have probably one more person to get on the list. They would end up going home because of the tea room incident. The other one, because of Coco, how many people had to go home, and the other thing, and now the last person, well, I shouldn't say the last. They had it in for Dr. Rowley, so the last one probably I think is a worry they might dig into. This country is running like a roti shop. It can't be running on hate and who do what and no one in power could do this to you. What the heck is going on in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, but leave
Lord
roti shop out of this, especially hot shop roti shop. Leave roti shop out of it. You could
Roti
say
shops don't have no confusion.
None. The only confusion roti shop does have is when they run out of chana. That's the only confusion roti shop does have confusion.
Or the beef already yet.
Or the beef already yet. And you had to take boneless chicken. I love my beef. Okay? Leave roti shop out of this.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. Hello to the breakfast show.
Morning.
I want to speak about that incident down at Bobby Town where that little child was hanging from that Ferris wheel there, that incident there. And I want to congratulate the young man who braved the station and went and take down the child. I want to congratulate him for his bravery, and I hope he's being recognized nationally. But that could have ended a different way. And I want to make a clarion call to the parents, especially in this time where all the schools are out and children are up and about. I think that parents have to be more vigilant. They have to be more vigilant with the children, especially young children like that. That could have a very tragic story. That could have been very tragic if that child is born. And the people who have that thing, I think it's Mr. Singh is they're not saying, Mr. Chin, right? Who premises would have to be scared and all this kind of things that happen. And this could have been very tragic. I want to make a call to the parents winning all these public places with the children to look at your children. You have a responsibility. Look at your children. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah. You're very right, Mr. Billy. That could have ended tragically. We will do it as our good news tomorrow, please God. Because Mr. Devines, what was his first name? I'm not sure.
Akil.
Akil Devines, yes. Well done, Akil Devines. I'm sure he's a listener to this show because who doesn't listen to this show? So good morning, Akil. And well done. We'll do your segment as a good news tomorrow, please. All right?
Right.
Oh, you're sending me footage?
I did. It's in the chat.
Oh, did you send footage of it?
Yes, I always do. I'm on top of things.
You'll have to send it again because
I organized this whole week.
Richard, I just scrolled too far.
You'll have to send it again. No.
Good morning, caller.
I don't have to what.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Lincoln.
Good morning.
I would like to use the words exaggeration. I am taking this situation that happened with Dr. Rowley with a pinch of salt, and I'll tell you why. Interpol isn't isolated to Antigua. If Dr. Rowley's name was on an Interpol list, when he got to Antigua, he would have been flagged. And I understand he was on his way to Montserrat. Right? If his name was on an Interpol list, when he got to Montserrat, he would have been flagged as well too. So I find it peculiar. Your name was on the Interpol list, but you're only flagged in Antigua. And nothing
No. You're wrong, Lincoln. You're wrong.
Right?
He said both places it happened. Both places it happened. Both in Antigua and in Montserrat.
That is not what I heard on the news, or I heard him say for myself. He only had a situation. What I heard him said, he only experienced that incident in Antigua.
All right. Well, your interpretation of it is different to mine.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I said your interpretation of it is different to mine.
No. I listened to it on several stations, on several reports. It's only Antigua he had that experience in.
Yeah, well, we'll double check too, So, yeah.
So that is very peculiar that you only have, your name is on an Interpol list, but you only had an experience in Antigua. So I don't believe for a minute his name is on an Interpol list. He probably had a situation, a bad experience with somebody who was overzealous, and they probably just call Interpol name to say, well, to cover their mess up. But I don't believe his name is on Interpol list at all. All right, have a good morning, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay, I don't have an actual call right now. So if you would like to belt up the poll, go.
I'm almost certain I heard Dr. Rowley said that it happened in Antigua and it happened in Montserrat also. I'm almost certain I heard that. But Lincoln has a different. He heard a different.
I want to just recognize that we used clips from CNC3, which of course was very apparent in terms of our clips. So thank you, CNC3, and we did use your clips just to give some context to what we're talking about this morning.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Anyway, so let's do a poll. We don't have much time left. Let's do a poll. Our poll this morning is the Interpol issue related to Dr. Rowley. Whom do you believe? You would have heard from Dr. Rowley, and you would have heard from the TTPS. Whom do you believe? A, Dr. Rowley, B, the TTPS. You just have to vote A or B. All right? Whom do you believe? Dr. Rowley, who says he was given information that he's on an Interpol list, and B, the TTPS saying he was not. Okay? Whom do you believe? All right? A or B? Let's go. Richard, you ready?
Yeah, we're not doing a yes or no today. We're doing a or B today.
Yeah, A or B. All right? That's what we're doing, right? Yeah. Hi, Michael. You've got this in Sanko. For a long time, I haven't heard from you. All right? Melchizedek, A. Andre Reno, A. Nutscake, B. Ramnaresh, B. Mrs. R, A. Chelsea Blue, A. DL, B. Josie Richardson, A. Morgains, A. Finbar Collins, A. Miguel Gonzalez, B. RR, B. Terrian George, B. Michael Oliver, B. Julia Batiste, B. Joyce Phillip, A. Michael Grandison Sankofa, A. Chelsea Blue, didn't you vote already? Chelsea Blue, A. Diane Hamill, A. Jason Samuel, B. Marlon Motley, A. Cheryl M, A. Ava Smith, A. Shoma Paul, A. Chelsea Blue, you voted already, man. Kazim Mohammed, A. CKS, B. Kurt Hope, A. Margaret Thomas, A. Beauty Culture, A. Michael Robinson, B. Kelcher Cambridge, A. Lester Cragwell, A. Annie Bunyan, A. Susie B, A. Carol Guevara, A. Scorpion Pepper abstain. Anne-Marie Watson, A. Melissa, A. CJ from New York, A. Helen McCarthy, A. Donna Ramlochan, B. Ian Stewart, B. Those are the votes we have thus far. It's time for 7 o'clock news. And when we come back, we have two guests, as I said, former Attorney General Gavin Nicholas, and we'll have after that former Commissioner of Police.
But before we get into those interviews, we'll kind of wrap up the poll so you can continue to vote A or B. A meaning that you believe Dr. Rowley, B meaning that you believe the TTPS, because it's uncertain whom to believe, and we'll take it from there.
All right, so we'll be back shortly. News is straight ahead.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek, in for Amanda today. A new 3-member review tribunal has been appointed to examine detention orders issued under the current state of emergency. Chief Justice Ivor Archie made the appointments, as confirmed in Legal Notice number 241 of 2025, published today. David Alexander will serve as chairman of the tribunal, with Kent Samlau and Shivanjali Ramutar as members. The appointments were made under Section 11 of the Constitution and the Emergency Powers Regulations. However, the legal notice did not outline the operational guidelines for the tribunal. During the last state of emergency in December and January, detainees had the right to request a review within 24 hours, and the tribunal was required to convene within 7 days. It remains unclear whether those same procedures will apply in this current situation. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is demanding answers after learning his name appeared on an Interpol watch list during a recent trip through Antigua. At a press conference at his Glencoe home, Rowley questioned whether the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service was directed to put his name on the list, and if so, by whom. He called on Police Commissioner Alistair Guerrero for clarity, and pointed fingers at Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesar and Attorney General John Jeremy, accusing them of engineering what he described as a dastardly and politically motivated act of defamation. Rowley said the incident raises national concerns, not just personal ones, and asked what crime he was being investigated for that warranted international alert. Calling the matter a stain, he warned of further consequences whenever he travels and accused the government of spite and retribution, upset by the praise he received upon leaving office. He concluded with a direct message: "Take my name out of your defamation." The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has confirmed that former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is not listed on any Interpol watch list. This follows Rowley's explosive claim at a news conference that he was detained and questioned in Antigua last week en route to Montserrat, accusing local authorities of orchestrating a deliberate and calculated international smear campaign. He described it as state-sponsored slander and demanded answers from Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesar and Police Commissioner Alistair Guerrero. In response, the TTPS said it conducted an immediate internal review and comprehensive database checks, confirming there are no flags, alerts, or warrants linked to Rowley's name. The police also stated that no information was submitted to Interpol that would justify such action. Emphasizing its independence, the TTPS rejected any suggestion of political interference and urged public discourse to be based on verified facts. It reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and protecting the dignity of all citizens. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath says school repairs are officially underway across Trinidad and Tobago, with 278 schools set for upgrades during the July-August vacation. Speaking at the launch of the Municipal Police Youth Empowerment Camp at San Fernando Central Secondary School, Dr. Dowlath confirmed the program began on July 20th. It is being coordinated by the Education Ministry's Facilities Planning Division and MTS. He said the government has allocated $83 million for this phase of repairs, in addition to over $130 million previously approved. Addressing public concerns over delays, Dowlath noted that more extensive repairs have started early, with a second phase targeting minor works set to begin in about 3 weeks. With schools expected to reopen on September 2nd, the minister assured that updates will be provided soon and pledged that every effort is being made to ensure all schools are ready on time. Former Commissioner of Police and ex-National Security Minister Gary Griffith is criticizing the recent transfer of inmates from local prisons to military facilities under the ongoing state of emergency, calling it a surrender to the criminals. In a statement issued Friday, Griffith said relocating prisoners to military bases like Teteron Barracks and Stables Bay signals defeat, undermines confidence in the prison service and police, and echoes the controversial Guantanamo Bay model used by the U.S. He referenced his own time as commissioner when he dealt with similar threats by reinforcing prison security instead of declaring an SOE. Griffith said he used police funding to refurbish a high-security wing at Golden Grove, complete with multiple law enforcement layers and 24-hour surveillance, all without emergency powers. He also questioned the chain of command, saying Commissioner Alistair Guevara should not have publicly recommended an SOE without cabinet approval. Griffith warned that such disclosures could harm national security, tourism, and foreign investment by spreading fear unnecessarily. A 51-year-old man was killed in a tragic crash late Sunday night near the El Socorro walkover. The victim, Adrian Leslie James, was found dead close to the westbound lane of the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway. Police from the Barataria station responded to the scene around 11:25 p.m. and discovered a gold Nissan Almera overturned in a nearby drain. Leslie's body was located a short distance away in a bushy area, with severe injuries to his midsection. Investigators described the trauma as catastrophic. A damaged traffic barricade was also found at the site. Early indications suggest Leslie may have lost control of the vehicle before colliding with the barrier. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, tragedy struck the capital of Bangladesh on Monday when a military training jet crashed into a school in Dhaka, killing at least 20 people and injuring more than 170. The F-7 aircraft, operated by the Bangladeshi Air Force, reportedly experienced a mechanical fault shortly after takeoff and slammed into a two-story building at Milestone School and College in Uttara. The pilot, Flight Lieutenant Mad Tarkir Islam, was among the dead. Dozens of children were caught in the wreckage, with the health ministry confirming 17 of the dead were students. Many victims had just finished classes and were leaving the compound when the plane hit. Hospitals across the city are treating the injured, many of them suffering severe burns. Officials say most of the wounded are between 10 and 15 years old. An investigation has been launched into what is now Bangladesh's deadliest air incident in decades. A national day of mourning will be observed Tuesday, with flags flown at half-mast. And that's news now at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Men, women, tired of the invasive, painful old methods of testing prostate and breasts?
The Institute of Health and Fitness Clinic and Wellness Center offers comprehensive and non-invasive diagnostic testing, which indicates the nature and extent of diseases and tests your nutritional levels. Our quick testing can identify early signs of problems by evaluating many of the bodily functions, such as male and female sexual function, gastrointestinal function, liver function, kidney function, thyroid function, heart and brain function, and also cancer testing. Results are comparable with other medical lab tests without the use of needles or embarrassing specimen cups, and is pain-free. We also offer all natural treatments. Visit us now at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna, or call 492-7397 or 289-6363.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
I'll go cross any ocean to find it. Won't let no mountain get in the way. Hey. We come cross the water, been through the fire. I know that my heart will show me the way. Everywhere you turn, you see people smiling. We don't see no creed and race. I don't want nobody tell me about leaving. We fight for we thing and this is we place. Take me home. Take me home. Take me to a place where my heart don't feel no pain. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Well, everybody's shouting out right there. It's a baby dim deep down inside there. And if you're looking for me, you go find me. Right there, right there. I repeat the bim 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 right there. It's a rhythm deep down inside there. Take me home, take me home, take me home. Wake me up before I fall asleep. Take me to a place where lovers meet. Marry me to the heart of water space. So if I ever leave, I'm bound to come again.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
All right, everybody, and of course, we welcome you inside the second hour of the breakfast show right here on New Era TT Radio. Just to let you know that coming up inside of the Drive Time Exchange later on with Tony Fraser, he will be speaking with what is arguably the leading Caribbean novelist of all time. Yeah. We're talking about Earl Lovis as his guest today on the Drive Time Exchange. And he's known for such books as The Dragon Can't Dance, Wine of Astonishment, Salt, and a whole lot of other books. And Earl does an extensive interview with journalist Tony Fraser today about his life and his writing. So you can join them just after 4 o'clock. Yeah. Right here on New Era TT Radio. And for all of you folks on YouTube, remember your next YouTube engagement will be at 4 p.m. on the stream. All right, so let's take a couple more messages before we jump back inside the show.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, K9 patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070. Today, Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Well, we weren't hearing either one of us.
No.
Yeah, the voting poll is back up, so you can vote on your A or B, and as we close off the poll for this morning.
Yes, let's do that. The Interpol issue raised by Dr. Rowley. Whom do you believe? A, Dr. Rowley. B, the TTPS. All right. I stopped at Ian Stewart. So let me do from DJ Inferno TTA. Carl M. Jack B, Chevron Shogun A, Brennan Smith B, Jared Darlington B, who else? I think that's it. Slick Money Grip votes A, and a lot of chat. A lot of chat. All right. That's it. And Lincoln, didn't you vote already? But Lincoln vote B. All right.
Okay. So on the,
A. That's it for me on the chat.
All right. On the WhatsApp, we have Patricia saying B. We have Sexy Reds saying B. We have Miss Sampson saying A. We have Angela Collier saying A. Bishop Ashton Clark saying A. Brenda saying A. Black Pearl saying A. Sean Ram saying B. Anand saying B. Zena didn't vote. Judith out there in Tobago says A. Cynthia Aaron says B. Fia Lashley says B. Mr. Billy says B. Dre Rio Claro is saying A. And just a couple more. Right? Joseph Clement is saying A. Frank in Ruka is saying A. And yeah, that is it.
All right. And I have two more A's, Wayne Joseph A and Rena Jennings A. All right. We'll close off there. That's 7:18 on the dot. Count and crumple.
All right. So our poll this morning, the Interpol issue raised by Dr. Rowley. Whom do you believe? A, Dr. Rowley, or B, the TTPS? Of course, Dr. Rowley says he was informed that he was on an Interpol watch list. The TTPS says they have no knowledge of that, and that he is basically, well, they have no issue that he's on, and they have no information that he's on an Interpol watch list. So that was our poll this morning. Whom do you believe? A, if you believe Dr. Rowley, you voted A. If you believe the TTPS, you voted B. We had 66 people voting on the poll in the allotted time. And of the 66 people voting, 42 of you said A, Dr. Rowley, and 24 of you said be the TTPS. So, I mean, the A's have it, but it was pretty competitive at points with people voting for the TTPS and saying they believe the TTPS. But the Dr. Rowley believers win this one in terms of our A and B poll. The first time you're doing an A and B poll actually on the show.
And it's the first time we've gotten so many votes.
So Dr. Rowley gets 42 votes and the TTPS gets 24 for a total of 66. So that's it for our poll this morning. You know what happens now. It gets crumpled up, rubbed together like dumpling, and out you go.
Let me say good morning to the folks at Bagward Sings Hardware. They're listening. I didn't get a name, but I know that they are listening now. So thanks for joining what is unarguably the best radio station, the best program on planet Earth. All right, there we go. And good morning to the folks at Furniture Plus, also too at Sharfler Auto and Horatio Enterprises. All right, and Michael Grandison from Sankofa. Clearly today is your first day joining the show. You know what I mean? Lots of answers. You could always contact me after. I can answer all your questions on this chat. All right, so we're supposed to have Gavin Nicholas.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to have former Attorney General Garvin Nicholas. He'll be our first guest at 7:20.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nicholas.
Yeah, good morning, Gavin Nicholas. Thanks so much for joining us on the breakfast show once again, because you've been here before.
I feel apprehensive now coming right after that poll.
Well, you want to vote on it one time? You can weigh in on voting on it first before we get into the substantive matter.
I will let the population decide.
Oh, well, our population has decided. Our radio population.
Our snapshot in terms of our listeners and viewers, which Wendell seems to forget that we have viewers, also voted on the poll, and of course they are saying that they more believe the public sentiment on our program leans towards believing Dr. Rowley rather than TTPS. But what's your take? Because you were a former Attorney General. I mean, Dr. Rowley being stopped in Antigua or being informed in Antigua, well, there was some obvious stopping at the immigration point that generated all of this. And he says he was informed that he was on an Interpol watch list. We were discussing the fact that Dr. Rowley must be well known throughout the Caribbean because he has been a Caribbean statesman and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for a decade. So everybody should probably know him. And we just found the entire thing pretty curious. But of course, it was important enough for Dr. Rowley to call a press conference on this.
I think.
What's your take?
I think if we are to really discuss this thing properly, we need to understand what is the role of Interpol as the starting point. Interpol is a cross-border organization. It is not an organization that has a police force per se, but what it does is it works with intergovernmental agencies, and there are about 169 members served by Interpol, member nations served by Interpol, right? So that in order to get on an Interpol list, it means that one of the member countries, and most likely not the home state, because if it is the home state, they have access to you anyway. It is easier for the police to go to Goodwood Park and knock on Dr. Rowley's door, or if he's in Tobago, to knock on his door and interview him if there is concern for any issue. Interpol is used when there are you have people in other jurisdictions, so that if Trinidad is looking for somebody who is not based in Trinidad, and who might have committed a crime in Trinidad and fled the country, they would engage Interpol so that there can be alerts to find out where, in which jurisdiction that person might be traveling, and in so doing, alert the police or the authorities on the ground in that jurisdiction that they may have an arrest warrant out for that person and they would like to get some assistance. after which they would then engage the process of probably extradition back to Trinidad so that that person can face the courts. It makes absolutely no sense to have Trinidad and Tobago government issue Interpol assist or to engage Interpol for assistance to find Dr. Rowley. That's the starting point of this. So if it is that if we want to start by making sense, let us make sense. What is the purpose for engaging Interpol for Dr. Rowley? The other thing is that Interpol is highly sophisticated. It does not engage in petty politics, so that there is a very intricate process for listing somebody on an Interpol list. It is not a willy-nilly matter. So again, the police service in Trinidad and Tobago, if they want to list somebody on Interpol, they would have to engage with Interpol, provide documentation that this person may or may not have committed serious offenses, most likely, and we're talking serious offenses like trafficking, international terrorism, those high-level criminal activities. That is the starting point, really, for the engagement of Interpol. And of course, you have to supply evidence, that credible evidence would then cause Interpol to put that listing.
And so far as Interpol is concerned, Mr. Nicholas, who would that more than likely fall under? The TTPS or the Office of the Attorney General?
The TTPS, as the policing authority, would be liaising with Interpol. In the AG's office, there is also a unit that liaises with those international agencies so that if it is that, as in the case that happened when I was there, the US wanted to apprehend a Surinamese national. The Surinamese national was put on the list. And when he came to Trinidad, there was an alert. That led to an arrest in Trinidad. The arrest and the warrant would have been, they would work hand in hand with the unit of the AG's office and the police service to execute the warrant and to bring that person to the magistrate's court for them to test the evidence of whether that person should be extradited or not. So those are the two units that work hand in hand for those sorts of things. The AG's office doesn't engage necessarily in listing people on Interpol. They more or less through the central authority work hand in hand with these other agencies. So it would be the police, and I believe that there is a designated officer in the Commissioner of Police office that deals with Interpol on these issues.
But what you're saying, but if I'm understanding you, Gavin, all of that is kind of irrelevant because it wouldn't have emanated from Trinidad and Tobago. Isn't that what you're saying?
Correct. The whole point, all of this, you don't need to extradite Dr. Rowley. You don't need to search to find him. You don't need any of those things, so that the engagement of Interpol, to me, seems totally irrelevant. There is absolutely no need for Trinidad and Tobago to issue any assistance or to engage with Interpol for any assistance to find Dr. Rowley. The other thing that I find curious, so first of all, if it is that Dr. Rowley would have been placed on any Interpol list, it would be as a result of some foreign agency, not Trinidad and Tobago.
Do you believe then that the authorities in Antigua, where this information would have emanated, may have misspoke or given him the wrong information?
Well, I don't want to comment on what happened in Antigua because that whole thing to me is very curious, and I'll tell you why again. Because it appears from what Dr. Rowley said, he passed through Antigua. The first time they checked him, he found it unusual. Then apparently he went to some other country.
Montserrat.
I have been reading in the newspaper that he might have gone to the Privy Council. I don't know if that's where he went. So let's say, for instance, he would have gone from Antigua to the UK. If he had gone to the UK's checks regarding Interpol are highly sophisticated. Far more sophisticated, I would posit, than Antigua. And if it means that he was not pulled aside or questioned or flagged in one of those jurisdictions, it would mean that it is unlikely that he was actually on an Interpol list. Then he said he returned to Antigua, and again he was pulled aside, and that is when he was told, the story is murky, so I don't even want to quote it, but he subsequently then made inquiries and he found out he was on an Interpol list. Curiously, he can't say who told him that he was on an Interpol list, but the credible Trinidad and Tobago police, who would be able to go and do all of those checks, because of course, when you are applying for a police record, they check all of these things. So they have access to all the international Interpol lists, and they could check to see which national is on those lists. In fact, you can actually go online and pull up Interpol, and you can do a quick check by entering details of the person to see if that person is on the list. And because of the whole sensitivity of international terrorism financing and stuff, where attorneys and other people are actually encouraged to check basic lists to find out if persons are on it, you have easy access to information, and nowhere can you find Dr. Rowley's name on any Interpol list. And if the police did a check and Dr. Rowley is not on that list, it isn't that Interpol could be working in cahoots with an officer in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, acting as a party group chairman for UNC government, and then you put him on the list today, take him off tomorrow because police check in. I mean, that is a nonsense. That whole thing is a nonsense. And if it is that the police did a proper check and they found no credible evidence that he's on any list, chances are he's not on any list.
So if you, let's put yourself in the shoes of Dr. Rowley now. How would you have handled this if you had gotten that information? Let's assume that the information that he got from someone in Antigua, he actually got that information. How would you have treated it? Would you have had your attorneys look into it first before coming to the public? How would you have treated that?
Well, obviously, the first thing I would probably do is find out, first of all, am I really on a list? I have access to the Prime Minister of Antigua. That's my partner. Call him. Gaston, what's going on here? Do you know of me being on a list? Could you check? What is the problem? If not, and the other thing is that if he's on a list, one would assume he's on a list so that he could be arrested. Mm-hmm. Not on a list to say, hey, how you going, partner? You're on a list. That's not how it works. The purpose of being on a list is to alert authorities to say this man is passing through Antigua, shall we arrest him? So he passed through Antigua twice and there was no arrest. So he came back to Trinidad. Okay, so you call the police because when he was in opposition the last time around during the People's Partnership, he would call the police if he had issues. He would call them if he had there were threats against his life and he wanted security, so that it is not difficult for him to come back and say, listen, I was traveling and they told me I'm on a list. Could you double check and see if I'm on a list? And if so, why? And if so, who is the issuing authority? Who is the country that issued this? Find out the information as a responsible adult before you go and you have a press conference and make accusations that don't add up.
Well, he called on people to answer, and so far we've had an answer from the TTPS that they don't have him on any list.
But why do it in a press conference? Why not call the police when they come in? And he came back into Trinidad. He could have asked the immigration services there and then.
Yeah.
Am I on a list? Am I on a watch list?
Well, again, he decided to go the way that he went. So here we are today trying to get to the bottom of how does this thing work? So is it that we in Trinidad and Tobago ever had the cause to put anybody on an Interpol watch list?
Well, I would imagine so. I would imagine that we've had a long history of working with Interpol cross-border agencies. We have close links with the FBI, with the other agencies, the UK, MI5, we have Asia. We are interlinked as a nation with international security. And therefore, if, for example, there is somebody who committed a crime in Trinidad and who fled the country to another jurisdiction, then we would engage with these external authorities to arrest, to extradite. We have an extradition treaty that is functional. We extradite people. There are quite a few people. In fact, I think there were about 5 people extradited under my short time as Attorney General, back to different places. So it's a common use of these instruments.
Yeah.
But as I said, there is absolutely no need to engage such a process when you have the person actually in the jurisdiction. There is no need for that.
Yeah, because that would have seemed kind of strange. But obviously something happened in Antigua, because I don't think Dr. Rowley would call a press conference to discuss something that happened to him, that irked him enough. And I suppose because he's a former prime minister, so he felt that the route to go was press conference, because he's a former prime minister. And not only just a former prime minister, he's a former prime minister for 10 years. So
and as a former prime minister for 10 years, and as a former chairman of the National Security Council, I am actually very surprised that Dr. Rowley would even assume that he was put on an Interpol list by local authorities, understanding what Interpol is actually used for.
Yeah.
So that's a starting point.
So that's where it gets very confusing. And Dr. Rowley, it would be,
and you see, and
clearly,
clearly,
because to be on the program, but of course he hasn't replied. But to get
clearly, your poll results suggest that he understands that people do not understand, and as such, he could do these things. Because
well, you're now implying a motive on his part, then.
No, well, obviously people don't understand because
I'm not talking about people not understanding. You're saying you just said that people don't understand, and he knows that, so that's why he can do it. So you're implying that there is some intentional motive on his part, then.
Well, all I can say is what is out there. Well, first of all, one, the use of the Interpol list is not for this purpose. So that's one. The Interpol does not work like that. Okay? Trinidad and Tobago government, Kamala Prasad Bissessa, can't call Interpol and say, I'm looking for Dr. Rowley, help me. Because we know where Dr. Rowley is. So that's one. Two, even if some other jurisdiction put him on a list, the police service did their checks and they realized he's not on any list. And I would actually believe the police service in this regard. So one, there is no purpose for him being on a list, and two, he is not on a list. To go and say that he's on a list, I don't know why he would do that. That is left up. He needs to answer that question. I am not going to imply any other motives to Dr. Rowley.
Yeah.
I would really hope that Dr. Rowley, as a former prime minister, isn't being maliciously irresponsible in these circumstances. Because this
what would be his motive for being maliciously irresponsible, as you suggest?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that he's not on the list, and I do know that there would make no sense putting him on a list by Trinidad and Tobago because we are not trying to find him.
Yeah. Well,
and now that we know where he is, even if we were trying to find him, there's been no attempt to arrest him. So if you go through all of that to list him on Interpol, and he's here, he's back, you know where to find him, Akash know where to find him, they could arrest him. And there is absolutely no sign of that taking place.
Yeah. I mean, it would be good to get onto the Antiguan authorities, and maybe we could work on that. But we have Gary Griffith waiting to join because he was joining at 7:40. So you're free to stay on, Garvin. as we bring in Gary Griffith into this conversation. So let me just bring him in. Yeah. So good morning, Gary, and thanks for joining us on the Breakfast Show this morning. Of course, we have Gavin Nicholas, and you're just speaking with him on the issue as a former AG. What's your take as a former commissioner of police? And well, of course, you are kind of versed in all of these kinds of issues with Interpol and stuff. So what's your take on it?
Well, Gavin was brilliant this morning. He was spot on. He left very little for me to say. So, but Gavin did it from the legal perspective. Dealing with it from a police perspective, that international criminal police organization, Interpol, how Interpol works, it is absolutely, the previous prime minister state that it may be some type of political involvement. It is absolutely impossible that any political body in any one of the 190 odd member states that are affiliated with Interpol can just send a document and forward it to Interpol. It does not work that way. That is impossible. It must come through the National Central Bureau head, that being the Commissioner of Police. So I knew this because I was the National Central Bureau head. So it must come through that NCB. And there is, as Gavin said, there is a liaison officer, an operation officer who represents Interpol, who is from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. That person has dialogue with Interpol on a regular basis. Interpol is not an MI6, it's not an operational unit. This perception that Interpol turns up here with 5 and 6 persons to arrest individuals, it doesn't work that way. It is a communication network, it's a sharing of information. In fact, as Commissioner of Police, we were bombarded by Interpol based on COVID. With Interpol, they were packaging information for basic standard operational procedures for the police throughout the world, and it will be sent. So that is how Interpol operates. Having said that, there are two aspects with Interpol. So it's a really sharing of information from different bodies, sent into Interpol, and Interpol will then send it back out to other countries on a need-to-know basis. There's the red notice. That red notice is one where there's someone who there's enough evidence for someone to be arrested. So a red notice goes out, and that person is now flagged, and you're looking for this culprit now. And that could usually come from the home country. So a home country of a citizen who has escaped, and there's a major criminal act that he or she would have committed. You send it to Interpol. Interpol sends it out to all the countries. So as soon as you land in an airport, they can apprehend you. That is the red notice. There's the other aspect of that person just being a suspect based on information that can come from other countries. And this is where I want to get into, I know you all had A and B this morning, but there is a C. There's an option C, and I think Gavin was alluding to it. And I'm not saying that this is this scenario. I'm not here to cast anything on anyone, but there is a C, whereas all persons in the 66 votes, they are correct. The previous prime minister is not a fool. He's not going to make up something like this, and nobody in Antigua will just tell him a lie. So I am 100% sure that what Keith Rowley is stating actually happened. So those 44 persons are correct. The 22 persons who voted said the police service is correct. The Commissioner of Police is not a fool as well. He is the head of the NCB. He will have all the information, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will be able to look and see, we have not submitted any red flag or notice about Keith Rowley to Interpol. So to your 66 voters, you're all correct. But there is a C. The C has to do with either, sometimes it involves information being shared to Interpol does not necessarily have to come from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It can come from other law enforcement or intelligence agencies from a country, and that can get to Interpol. It can be inappropriate because sometimes what is required is that information should really be sent to the NCB, who becomes the conduit to pass information on to Interpol. But there are other law enforcement agencies, for example, the SSA, the Defense Force Intelligence Unit, and so forth. They can also be involved in communicating with Interpol without the knowledge of the NCB. I think that can be inappropriate, though. I think that really and truly should have been fed to the police service so the police will know what is happening. There's the other element of C, whereby another country may have red flagged an individual in another country and pass it on to Interpol. Interpol is not obligated to forward that information to that home country. So, for example, let me take it away from this scenario. If somebody is from Barbados and there's something, and the United States has a red flag of somebody in Barbados, they can pass it on to Jamaica, to Interpol. Interpol will inform Jamaica because they know that individual is heading to Jamaica. The Barbados police doesn't have to know. So the information that the TTPS would have sent is accurate. TTPS did not send any information, and they have nothing on their system to verify. But what Trinidad and Tobago has on their system is a need-to-know basis practically. So there's also the possibility that another country may have done something on an individual and forwarded to Interpol, who would have then sent it to other countries, because Interpol, as I said, they are not obligated to forward any type of information about any red flag suspect to the home country.
Okay, go ahead.
Richard. So it's possible that it could have some truth in it, in terms of his name being on a list. But is it also possible that his name could have been removed from the list since?
Yes, that is true. And that is where it is. And Gavin, feel free to jump in anytime. And that is the point. If it is that there's data from the Interpol based on, say, a third country, the United States, the United Kingdom, they pass it on to Interpol. Interpol can now red flag that individual, not a red notice. There's a difference, as I said, the red notice is to arrest, but there's also somebody who is a suspect, he's red flagged. And Interpol has it, and Interpol could pass it on to other countries, knowing where the individual is traveling to keep an eye on him or her. But the home country does not have to know. Interpol after as well can then check, and then after red flagging him, can realize it is not enough information and we have removed them. But I think it is hardly likely that a previous prime minister would be red flagged and be held and be told that, and then the persons would not have known that he was removed from the list. So I hardly think it could be that scenario. But as I said, there is also this option C, where persons can be red flagged by another country, an external country, a third party, and they forward it to Interpol, and Interpol will give it to other countries, because I want to re-emphasize, Interpol is not obligated to forward information about any person red flag to that home country.
So a question was asked in the chat by Scorpion. If there is in fact a list, shouldn't all countries be privy to that list?
Technically, you will think so, but as again, going back to what Gavin said, if it is that they are aware that the person came from Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to send to Trinidad and Tobago information that Trinidad and Tobago should already know. And this is where it is that there are blurred lines here. Is it that information could come from another law enforcement body other than the TTPS? Because as I said, other law enforcement bodies in Trinidad and Tobago, they have dialogue with Interpol on a regular basis, and that is their right to do so. Interpol is not, but however, the appropriate thing is that the information should be fed to the NCB, that being the Commissioner of Police. So he will have the database of everything pertaining to all individuals, but it is not necessarily so. Because I said it is virtually impossible that Keith Rowley would lie on something like this. It must be checked. But then it is also factual that the Commissioner of Police, who is well versed, the man was in special branch for decades. He knows his work as it pertains to this aspect of policing. He would have checked and realized we have not submitted anything and we do not have anything on our system. But it does mean that there is something, but it is just not in the records of the TTPS.
So let me ask this question then to a former Attorney General. Is it possible, because based on what Dr. Rowley would have said, he seems, I can't be certain, to have been pointing fingers. Is it possible that this could have come from the Office of the Attorney General?
No.
No.
In one word, no. Mm-hmm. It is for the again, the police, as Gary quite rightly pointed out, they're the ones who would initiate anything like this. And again, whenever we look at law, whenever we look at anything that one does, one must understand what is the purpose. That's the first question. What is the purpose? Trinidad and Tobago listing a national would only do so if they cannot find that national readily, or that national is not in the jurisdiction. That is the only way, that is the only reason you would want to engage cross-border agencies. If it is that Dr. Rowley is in Trinidad and there is a reason to apprehend him, to question him, for anything, they can readily do so. So somebody travels abroad, somebody commits a crime in Trinidad, they travel abroad, the police service don't know where he might have traveled to, they engage Interpol for assistance to locate that person. So that person traveling to Antigua, the Antiguan authorities can then say, listen, we have found the person, he's traveling to through Antigua, what shall we do? Shall we engage our police to arrest him? Do you want us to do anything further, or do you just want information? That is how basically the Interpol works. It is, as Gary quite rightly said, it is a system of collaboration and cooperation. What is the purpose? Why would anyone list Dr. Rowley on Interpol from Trinidad? And that is why I said maybe it is that some external country wanted to keep their eyes on Dr. Rowley, so they put him on the Interpol list. But even so, I am not certain that if a detailed check is done, and I would think too, I mean, certainly if I were in the position of Commissioner of Police, I would probably want to liaise with my CARICOM colleagues, because we have cooperation in national security in CARICOM, where information is shared. So it is easy to actually speak with CARICOM colleagues to find out what is really going on. If it is that he's listed, why is he listed? It may be top security that some agency just wants to monitor him for some other reason. I don't know, but that would be highly unusual, especially when Dr. Rowley isn't somebody who you can't easily track.
You know, you're making a very valid point there, Gavin. Why would the Trinidad and Tobago authorities not simply contact Antigua? I mean, Gaston Brown is there. He is a colleague in CARICOM, and say, look, this happened to a former prime minister of us. What's going on? Because there's a former prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago, so there's a reputation of the island would be affected because it's a former prime minister.
Correct.
So why would we not be being proactive about trying to find out what exactly happened in Antigua? What exactly happened?
So 24 hours after this press conference, we should have had full clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I may, again, I want to go back to the point of politicians' involvement in in Interpol. For myself, for example, because I could always keep switching hats. I was a Minister of National Security. The Ministry of National Security is, yes, heavily involved in Interpol. I was supposed to have attended the Interpol. There's a General Assembly that usually takes place, I think it's every year. I was supposed to go to Monaco. And with that, it meant that yes, the politicians, the Minister of National Security is involved because the Ministry of National Security comes under, the police come under the Ministry of National Security. But that is just for policy. So the Minister of National Security, or in this case, the Minister of Homeland Security, there is some degree of communication with Interpol, but that has to do strictly and solely with policy, not as it pertains to intelligence, with arrests, with documentation. So there is that dialogue, there is those meetings that take place with General Assembly before people believe that there's absolutely no involvement that the politicians have with Interpol. Having said that, however, it is absolutely impossible, based on the allegations being made by the previous Prime Minister, that there's some degree of interference or collusion by politicians here to have done that. That is impossible. Interpol do not take data, intelligence, documents from any politician for them to use that to red flag someone. So to
the Prime Minister should know that.
Pardon?
And the Prime Minister should know that.
He should know that, and that's because he was the chair of the National Security Council. Interpol is not going to take any document. Now, I do know we had situations here where certain politicians have influenced police officers to write false information on individuals to try to red flag them through embassies and so forth. That could be done. It happens. But when it comes to Interpol, there's no way that politicians could get involved in interfering in any way. So anything here, it is either it came from the TTPS or it came from an external body of law enforcement from another country that would red flag the individual and pass the information on to Interpol. I want to also quickly add, many people will be very concerned about what Dr. Keith Rowley went through, and you can see that he is hurting and he is frustrated because he honestly believes that there was political interference into his rights being infringed and his character being smeared. But this is the same government that he was under. How do you think Brent Thomas felt Keith Rowley?
But I was going to raise that in Ogari. I was going to raise that insofar as it was reported then, it was alleged then, that the Barbados government was given information by our people here, which is why they acted in that case. I mean, this is probably still an open
right, but you see, there's a difference, Wendell. The only person that can take, because remember the Barbados situation, Trinidad and Tobago police got involved. Barbados couldn't get involved, you know. Trinidad police got involved. Trinidad police could only get involved if the Minister of National Security gives authorization for them to leave our territorial waters. So Fitzgerald Hines gave information. I keep calling Hines' name, hoping that he could sue me so I could go to court and we could reveal that Hines gave approval to Suzette Martin, because I was the Minister.
Yeah, but we don't want to go to court though, eh?
You know, but I have him in for a few things. But
we have enough court issues already. We don't want to.
The point being is that a government minister can approve the police to leave our territorial waters to be involved in such. And this was done. How do you think Brent Thomas felt? How do you think Roger Best felt, Keith Rowley, when all of these lies you spoke about him, or Pastor Brown, or the Auditor General, or the Governor of the Central Bank, or Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, Sued Rambachan, Rudy Munilal, put it into email gate, or even myself and dozens of persons with all the lies we made up about
you might
firearms.
actually be buttressing his case. That
it goes to like so, because you're concerned, but this is the same thing that your administration did and used, but you cannot use it with Interpol. So as much as his government was able to utilize their position to destroy characters and manipulate situations, Interpol cannot do that because they are not going to accept any data from any politician.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. I mean, there's very little argument against that because this is the nature of politics. I always tell people all political careers end in failure unless they are cut off at a happy juncture. All.
So what exactly happened in Antigua? That's actually, to me, the mystery of this entire conversation. And why isn't the Trinidad and Tobago government trying to find out? Because to me, there should be a vested interest in finding out what exactly happened in Antigua.
Well, Richard, I beg to differ. If I was the Prime Minister, I will stay very far from this to show that I am not interfering. It's not my business. Two dozen. That doesn't care. You can't get involved in a matter like this that involves Interpol, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and other law enforcement agencies.
No, but the TDPS has already said that they won't. That there is no. They have no evidence.
Correct. So the only person that can actually deal with this is Keith Rowley, who has stated that Interpol said so. And if he said Interpol did this to him, he's not going to lie on Interpol.
But he got that information from Antigua.
Yeah, from Antigua.
Yes, I was about to say, notice, he said he contacted somebody who then contacted somebody and gave information. It's always a second hand and a third hand, because you always need to have somebody who arm's length. I will say no more on that. But he didn't say that he got it firsthand.
No, yes, that's correct. That's correct. You know, yeah, he was.
And I remember a situation where, well, let me not go down that road. I wouldn't go down that road.
I know which road you were going to go down, you know, Gavin.
I will leave that right there.
All right. Well, I mean, gentlemen, any closing comments? We are just arriving at 8 o'clock.
Well, I am just as curious as the rest of Trinidad and Tobago to find out exactly what happened in Antigua, because now that we know for sure that it wasn't an Interpol listing from Trinidad and Tobago, it becomes a lot more curious as to why our former Prime Minister is being flagged in other jurisdictions.
Okay. And my take is, there is an option C in your poll. Keith Rowley is not going to lie and make this up. So the 44% are correct. But the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, there's a comprehensive database that from that national central bureau of which the commissioner is in charge. So he will know. And the police never submitted anything like that on Keith Rowley. So your 44 and your 22 are correct. But there's a C where there's always the possibility that another country may, based on information of whatever, it could be white collar crime, it could be violent crime, it doesn't matter. But it's not a red notice to arrest someone, but it is information to make that person red flag if he enters a country. And they could have sent that to Interpol, and Interpol would have sent it to the countries where that person has traveled to without the knowledge of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Because as I said, I'll continue to say, Interpol is not obligated to forward all information on any suspect to the home country. So, and I'm not saying that happened here, but there is an option C.
Yeah.
Well,
I just want to say thank you to both of you all for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We are just about at our 8 o'clock news, but thank you for your expert insight into this topic, and we appreciate it.
Yes.
Have a good day.
We do.
See you all.
All right. The G's on the radio this.
All right, we go for news, and we will.
Sorry, Wendell. I accidentally took you off of the.
That's all right. A big front and center now. I don't know how you put me up all the front and center now.
Oh, you see?
But my apologies, someone in the chat, Joyce Phillip. My apologies. When I was clicking, it went on your name accidentally. But we had some people in the chat this morning. My God.
All right. Well, 8 o'clock news is next, isn't it, Sir Charles?
Yes, it is.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek, in for Amanda today. A new 3-member review tribunal has been appointed to examine detention orders issued under the current state of emergency. Chief Justice Ivor Archie made the appointments, as confirmed in Legal Notice number 241 of 2025, published today. David Alexander will serve as chairman of the tribunal, with Kent Samlau and Shivanjali Ramutar as members. The appointments were made under Section 11 of the Constitution and the Emergency Powers Regulations. However, the legal notice did not outline the operational guidelines for the tribunal. During the last state of emergency in December and January, detainees had the right to request a review within 24 hours, and the tribunal was required to convene within 7 days. It remains unclear whether those same procedures will apply in this current situation. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is demanding answers after learning his name appeared on an Interpol watch list during a recent trip through Antigua. At a press conference at his Glencoe home, Rowley questioned whether the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service was directed to put his name on the list, and if so, by whom. He called on Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara for clarity, and pointed fingers at Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar and Attorney General John Jeremy, accusing them of engineering what he described as a dastardly and politically motivated act of defamation. Rowley said the incident raises national concerns, not just personal ones, and asked what crime he was being investigated for that warranted international alert. Calling the matter a stain, he warned of further consequences whenever he travels and accused the government of spite and retribution, upset by the praise he received upon leaving office. He concluded with a direct message: "Take my name out of your defamation." The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has confirmed that former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is not listed on any Interpol watch list. This follows Rowley's explosive claim at a news conference that he was detained and questioned in Antigua last week en route to Montserrat, accusing local authorities of orchestrating a deliberate and calculated international smear campaign. He described it as state-sponsored slander and demanded answers from Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar and Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara. In response, the TTPS said it conducted an immediate internal review and comprehensive database checks, confirming there are no flags, alerts, or warrants linked to Rowley's name. The police also stated that no information was submitted to Interpol that would justify such action. Emphasizing its independence, the TTPS rejected any suggestion of political interference and urged public discourse to be based on verified facts. It reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and protecting the dignity of all citizens. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath says school repairs are officially underway across Trinidad and Tobago, with 278 schools set for upgrades during the July-August vacation. Speaking at the launch of the Municipal Police Youth Empowerment Camp at San Fernando Central Secondary School, Dr. Dowlath confirmed the program began on July 20th. It is being coordinated by the Education Ministry's Facilities Planning Division and MTS. He said the government has allocated $83 million for this phase of repairs, in addition to over $130 million previously approved. Addressing public concerns over delays, Dowlath noted that more extensive repairs have started early, with a second phase targeting minor works set to begin in about 3 weeks. With schools expected to reopen on September 2nd, the minister assured that updates will be provided soon and pledged that every effort is being made to ensure all schools are ready on time. Former Commissioner of Police and ex-National Security Minister Gary Griffith is criticizing the recent transfer of inmates from local prisons to military facilities under the ongoing state of emergency, calling it a surrender to the criminals. In a statement issued Friday, Griffith said relocating prisoners to military bases like Teteron Barracks and Stables Bay signals defeat, undermines confidence in the prison service and police, and echoes the controversial Guantanamo Bay model used by the U.S. He referenced his own time as commissioner when he dealt with similar threats by reinforcing prison security instead of declaring an SOE. Griffith said he used police funding to refurbish a high-security wing at Golden Grove, complete with multiple law enforcement layers and 24-hour surveillance, all without emergency powers. He also questioned the chain of command, saying Commissioner Alistair Guevara should not have publicly recommended an SOE without cabinet approval. Griffith warned that such disclosures could harm national security, tourism, and foreign investment by spreading fear unnecessarily. A 51-year-old man was killed in a tragic crash late Sunday night near the El Socorro walkover. The victim, Adrian Lessie of St. James, was found dead close to the westbound lane of the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway. Police from the Barataria station responded to the scene around 11:25 p.m. and discovered a gold Nissan Almera overturned in a nearby drain. Lessie's body was located a short distance away in a bushy area, with severe injuries to his midsection. Investigators described the trauma as catastrophic. A damaged traffic barricade was also found at the site. Early indications suggest Lessie may have lost control of the vehicle before colliding with the barrier. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, tragedy struck the capital of Bangladesh on Monday when a military training jet crashed into a school in Dhaka, killing at least 20 people and injuring more than 170. The F-7 aircraft, operated by the Bangladeshi Air Force, reportedly experienced a mechanical fault shortly after takeoff and slammed into a 2-story building at Milestone School and College in Uttara. The pilot, Flight Lieutenant Mad Tarkir Islam, was among the dead. Dozens of children were caught in the wreckage, with the health ministry confirming 17 of the dead were students. Many victims had just finished classes and were leaving the compound when the plane hit. Hospitals across the city are treating the injured, many of them suffering severe burns. Officials say most of the wounded are between 10 and 15 years old. An investigation has been launched into what is now Bangladesh's deadliest air incident in decades. A national day of mourning will be observed Tuesday, with flags flown at half-mast. And that's news now at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, canine patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070. Today, Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
What a chat. What a chat this morning. Richard, put on your mic now, man. Oh, God.
And I took it off. And I took it off. I took it off for a reason, because I was sending some voice notes to some people.
And you're decades younger than Dr. Rowley. You're decades older. You're pretending you're decades older.
Okay, thanks for your snarkiness. But but what a bacchanal. Nobody really knows what the hell went on in Antigua. I wonder how Antigua feeling this morning. They really don't care. They have
their name has been called in a situation where Interpol is involved.
Why do you think they care, Wendell?
What do you mean, Richard?
They're not into all the bacchanal that happened in Trinidad and Tobago. Why would they be?
What a bacchanal?
Yeah, it's bacchanal to us. But there's a press
we like bacchanal at DL. We love bacchanal here.
But what the hell happened in Antigua? And it's something that we need to find out. I don't know, if we could get in contact with anybody in Antigua to try and find out. I knew people in Antigua, but I don't think they're there anymore.
I know someone.
I don't have any connections to Gaston Brown, else we could have spoken to him. He's the Prime Minister, and get an interview with him concerning this entire issue. If a former Prime Minister like Dr. Rowley and him claiming what he has claimed must have gone to the desk or have come to the attention of Gaston Brown.
Yes. But Gaston Brown is regularly on social media,
Well, reach out to him.
He blogs a lot, But you know what? Yeah, I'll try to reach out to him. You know what? Dr. Rowley also said something about mistaken identity. He was told that it was a case of mistaken identity. Is it possible then that there is someone who looks like Dr. Rowley with the same name and same birth date? Is it possible?
Well, it have a man who was on the papers just last week or something, and he just sell papers somewhere in Canopy or something. I think some other place, and they said the man does look just like Dr. Rowley. They're trying
to say that's the man who Interpol looking for.
I don't know the name.
No, bringing up that man. That man do this business.
Might be the papers man.
Are you suggesting that man is who Interpol looking for?
I wonder now. Be wondering.
But does Interpol go by looks or do they go by name?
But they scan the man's passport. When they scan the passport, according to him, is when the flag came up. You understand? Because of this date of birth. Not so much because I'm sure the attendant is looking at Dr. Rowley and saying, but hey, this was the Prime Minister. I'm sure the person would have recognized him. But it's when they
must have realized that, or at least interpreted it.
Only giving people too much credit, the average person in Antigua really know. If somebody in Trinidad and Tobago working in the airport and somebody pull up with a passport saying Gaston Brown, normal like that, you think they're going to say, but wait, that had to be an Antiguan Prime Minister?
Well, one would like to think that our immigration officers are educated sufficiently about who CARICOM heads are, Sir Charles. But in terms of Antigua is a smaller country, so they would know Dr. Rowley, and Dr. Rowley wasn't just a prime minister for 2 days; he was there for 10 years. So he would have been this is not his first time into Antigua. He'd have been to Antigua several times.
Yeah, but he has a distinctive look too.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking too is that because Garvin would have raised the point that if there was a red notice out for you or watch list out for you, you would have been arrested. So the mere idea you weren't arrested means, well, what? Then was it a valid notice? What was the issue? Because ultimately, when Interpol sends out red notices like that, it's for you to be arrested to go back to whatever country to face whatever questions they have. That did not happen.
No. You know what somebody offered, and it may have some credibility, that probably Dr. Rowley has all the answers to these questions already. Maybe you already know where this came from, why he asks certain questions after and asks certain people to respond, Maybe he knows very well what happened, And maybe it was just a case of someone trying to harass him, stress him out, and it worked.
But if Dr. Rowley knows what happened, then he needs to be clear on that, Wendell.
But then if you listen to what Mr. Griffith said and to what Gavin said, they say that they are far removed from that.
Yeah.
That can happen. So
yeah. Anyway, this is where the show comes to an end for this morning. Of course, we have an exciting rest of week. So have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Thank you for joining us on The Breakfast Show. We know you have a choice to watch and listen to whatever you want to. So thanks for choosing us. Of course, they have a choice. Thanks for choosing us. Don't become an arrogant PNMite. You understand? They have that down packed. Don't bring it to the show, please.
I apologize. My apologies for coming across as an arrogant PNMite. Lord knows I don't want to be one. Folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember, it's one life. You got to live it. And we love you all, except for the ones who go beyond the thing. But we love you all. Far Rockaway, DL, Mrs. R, Scorpion Pepper, who else? All the people in the chat who keeps it. And Cheryl Henry. Oh, Cheryl Henry, you on fire sometimes. Oh, keep it so light.
New Era TT Radio continues on the stream, and New Era TT Radio continues on TuneIn. So join it and go through the rest of the programming that happens for the rest of the day, and it's all good. All
Donald
right.
Ramlutan, apology accepted.
Have a great day, people. This has been The Breakfast Show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on.